Hi everyone, it's me, Crafty Witch, and welcome back to my channel. So, you probably heard the dog. So I thought I would just show you where I store my magical supplies. So, that big red thing I got at Value Village last weekend. I painted it red and black. I think it's a planter or something. I'm not too sure. Oh, I feel so out of breath. I took the dog for a walk and now he's crying because he wants me to play with him, and I need my alone time. It's my son's dog. I'm such a cat person. Not that I don't like dogs, I do. I just like other people's dogs. Anyway, so yeah, I used that planter to hold my mom's sage. When she had passed away, for those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that my grandparents were medicine people, and they were healers. So when they handed down their stuff to my mom, and then they died, and then everything was given to my mom, like with regards to the medicines and those teachings. And then, of course, then my mom dies. And so yeah, so everything has come down to me. And so and I'm on my roller chair just to make this video a little bit easier. So I've got her sage bundles there. And I've got a couple of my rattles. There's my turtle shell rattle, and this one's from South America. It's really cool. I really like it. Along with some of my mom's sweetgrass, some tobacco that I use for offerings, that kind of thing. There's my selenite wand, which I love. Oh my goodness, this is so good. I done a video. Oh, don't mind my nails. They're totally nasty. I haven't. I've been doing chores and haven't done them, so they're chipped and everything. But this is so good for your back. Like if you suffer with back pain and stuff, at least it's worked for me. It's done wonders. So yeah, so there's just some candles. We got some smoky quartz. We got a little piece of meteorite there. We got a goddess statue, some paintings that I've done, a little tiny unicorn that I got from the Witch's Moon box, my little tiny cauldron, this is like an owl goddess statue that I really like. Some incense candle painting. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. So, this stand itself, it's over 4 feet tall. And I love it. It's way taller than what I expected. I really thought I was going to get something that was way shorter than this. And I was really pleasantly surprised at how tall it was. And I love it. I didn't want to use a bookshelf where the shelves are super deep. I don't like storing things behind each other unless I'm forced to. I like having them all kind of single row, all visible. I don't like having to store things out of sight, because then it becomes very much out of mind. And then I don't end up using them. But anyway, so I've gotten most of my stuff stored away in these little pint jars, and I love using glass jars to store my stuff. And if it's too big to store in a pint jar, then I will keep it either in a larger jar, or if I have to, in some kind of bag or whatever. And I have that great big blue trunk. I'm not sure if I ever showed you guys that, but it goes into there. Along with some of the other stuff I have. But anyway, you'll notice that these different things have different symbols on them. And for me, I'm very much a visual person. And so like with this shelf right here, looking at it, I can see that 4 of these things right off the hop are good for protection. And 3 of them are good for love. And 2 of them are good for money. And 4 of them are good for healing. So what I've done is for everything that has a, magical property to it, I've assigned it a symbol so that I could just put it on the label. And let's say I want to make a real kick-ass protective incense, right? Well, then I can maybe grab some bare root and some bittersweet and maybe some blackberry leaf, and maybe I'll get some cloves, maybe some cinnamon bark, maybe even some chicory, And then maybe I'll throw in some bay leaves and then some asafoetida and then some grimney, right? And then make this incense or whatever it is that I'm going to make. So yeah, that's, for me, I find it so much quicker, and I'm a visual person, so I like things being color-coded and symbols and things like that. So anyway, that's what I've done. So like for the symbol of protection, I've used the, a pentagram or a pentacle. And then for the symbol of purification, I've used kind of like a blue teardrop. Sorry, I hope I don't get you guys dizzy. For something like exorcism, I'll use this symbol, which is kind of like a cross with these little dashes up at the top. For luck, a 4-leaf clover. For fertility, kind of a green teardrop with a solid green teardrop in the center. And of course, the money sign for money. And an orange heart with little radiating orange lines for happiness and joy, that kind of thing. A little sword for bravery, strength, courage, that kind of thing. I'm no artist, by the way. So that's supposed to be an eye. Kind of looks like a bloody beetle or something, but so that's good for like divination. And to me, the eye will represent like your third eye, divination, intuition, those kind of things along those lines. Here, for instance, we've got a little green heart with little red sloshes radiating out from it. And for me, that lets me know that, hey, this is really good for working with the Fae. And the little symbol on the side is that, I can't remember, the staff with the little snakes on it. Our ambulance has them up here, and I know they have them on ambulances down in the States. Some will have with the 2 snakes, and some just have the 1 snake. So anyway, that lets me know that that's good for healing as well. Fenugreek, for instance, is good for luck and money, fertility, protection. Frankincense, there's my little symbol for success. Like yeah. So, but anyway, that might be something you might want to incorporate, or maybe not, whatever. Maybe you just want the name of whatever it is and on a fancy little label, and you're good to go. I like having the visual reminders of like, whatever it is. It's like, maybe, especially if it's something like, let's say you don't work with, I don't know, I'm trying to pick something. Peach leaves. See, now where I live, peaches don't grow around here at all. Like, our climate's way too cold. So I really don't work. Thanks a lot, Chansey. She just hit the tripod. Anyway, so I don't work with peach leaves that often. Very rarely. I've had this stuff for many, many, many years. It's not native to this area. I don't order it very often. I don't see it out for sale very often. These I have actually harvested myself when I lived in British Columbia, where I had access to peach trees. I live in Saskatchewan. There ain't no peach trees around here at all. But it's good for love and protection. So I might think to myself, yeah, I know peach is good for, love. But maybe I forget that it's good for protection because I hardly ever use it, right? So let's say I want to make an incense or some kind of sachet or whatever the case might be. And for whatever reason, I felt drawn to use peach this time. And it's like, oh, good. It is good for protection. So, yeah. So this little symbol, the red heart, represents love. And then there's my little symbol for protection. So, yeah, that's just how I've kind of organized my stuff. And then my grandmother. So, if you've been, following my channel, like I started doing this back in like 12 years ago, I've talked in other videos about my grandparents, how they were medicine people, they were healers. And so my cookum means Cree, oh my God, it's one of those days. It means grandmother in Cree. So when I say cookum, that means grandmother. And if I say mushum, that means grandfather in Cree. Okay? So anyway, my cookum had her own medicine bundle, what we call medicine bundle, and then my mushum had his own as well. And they passed theirs down to my mom, and my mom was the youngest of their 7 children. And she actually wasn't the first one that they had picked to pass things down. They actually picked to pass it down to their firstborn grandchild. However, he didn't believe in any of this stuff, and it scared him, and he became a born-again Christian, so he turned away from all this. And then so they had waited for quite some time, and then in, when was it, 1989, my son was named by my grandfather, and he got his ceremonial name. And this was like after, obviously, after he was born. He was just a little baby. And they passed him through the sweat lodge, and they gave my mushum, gave him his name, and handed down like our sweat lodge to my son. And then they started teaching my mom the medicines, all this stuff here. And then, so anyway, my mom started teaching me. And then after my mom died, then I got my mom's medicine bundle, my cookums, and my mushums. And that's where we ended up. So anyway, there's her stuff here. And yeah. And then down at the bottom, I've got like some things like broken glass, coffin nails, graveyard dirt, and that is specifically from my ancestral graves, the Pelche family. So I've gone to my grandfather's grave, his twin brother's grave, my uncle's grave, my grandmother's, my aunt's, my I have 2 uncles and a cousin, and they're all buried in the same graveyard. And 4 were in military service, and 1 was a cop. 2 of them were medicine people, and so I use that in certain spells. But yeah, so I'll just kind of go over what some of these are. If you guys are interested, I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't bore you guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So I've got a Grimney, asphotadia in powdered form, as well as in rock form or resin form. And this is what it looks like. This stuff stinks so bad, the asphotadia, but it's such a good, powerful thing to work with. I looked at a lot of my older videos, and they're so grainy. I think maybe I might redo them. We'll see. But anyway, so I've got a Grimney, asphotadia, basil, bay leaves, bare root, bittersweet, black cohosh, blackberry leaf, black sand, black salt, blue cohosh, brown-eyed Susans, buckthorn bark, and black and white mine copal. I just stuck the copal up there because that's where I put it. Catnip, cat's claw, cardamom seeds, charcoal. This is the charcoal that I got harvested last year. And that's what I used to make black salt with in the video that I showed you guys. Charcoal discs for burning incense. Then we've got chicory, chrysanthemums, cinnamon bark, cloves, colt's foot, corn flour, which I'm out of, corn husks, and the corn flour, that's just cornmeal. Corn husks, corn silk, cumin, devil's shoestring, and then we've got dragon's blood, elderberries, elderflowers, fenugreek, frankincense, galangal, gum benzoin, hawthorn berries, hazel tree bark, hemlock bark, hibiscus, high John the Conqueror root, Himalayan salt, horehound, and hyssop. And then over here we've got powdered Irish moss, jasmine flowers, juniper berries, Cookham's bear claw. There's an actual bear claw that I inherited from her. That was in her medicine bundle. It's from a black bear, and it was a bear claw that had been cut off of a black bear. Her black root. She had medicine to bring down fever in children. Medicine for cramps, like menstrual cramps, and what she called fits. You can even see in here, like her writing, cramps or fits. Yes, Chancy. So anyway, you don't hear the term fits used too often anymore. It's kind of like when kind of like convulsions, that kind of thing. They used to call them fits. Her muscat gouache and silver fern, and her muscat piton, which is muscat tea. You can see her little, that's my grandmother's writing. You can see her. And that's part of the ingredient that she uses in her sugar diabetes medicine. And rosebush roots, which is good for eye medicine. Her namapin. And yeah, so these are just some more of her stuff. There's her singa root, her strawberry root, and she had medicine here for tuberculosis. And then over here, there's her wee root, and then it carries on to my stuff. So here's lady's mantle, lavender, lemon verbena, licorice root powder, mandrake, mango powder, marigold, marshmallow root, mosses. So we've got Irish moss, like in whole form, Spanish moss and Quebec moss, mugwort, mullein, and muskeg / Labrador tea, and myrrh. And this is my stash of Labrador tea. This stuff's really good. So it's good for protection. It's good for healing. And then over here, we've got orris root, patchouli, peach leaves, periwinkle, pine needles, raspberry leaf, rosebuds and petals, wild rose leaves, or the dog rose leaves, rosemary, rowan bark. Here we've got St. John's wort, saffron, a hell of a lot of saffron. My mom had a big pack of it, and I had 2 that I didn't realize I had, and I had bought a 3rd one. So I've got a ton of saffron now. Sage, like powdered sage, sandalwood, sarsaparilla, and then over here we've got seneca root, snakeskin sheds from 2 different kinds of snakes. Let's see here. We've got, see the white snakeskin shed? That's from like a constrictor snake. And then these really dark ones, can you see? I don't know. Reflection's kind of bad. Those are from garter snakes. Then we've got spearmint, speedwell, star anise, thyme, tonka beans, tree medicine, which is from up north, further north, white tree bark, oh gosh, Yvonne, white oak bark, witch hazel leaves, wormwood, and yerba santa. And then at the very bottom over here, we've got broken glass in one jar, coffin nails in another, and graveyard dirt from the graves of some of my ancestors that are buried here in town. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, I think there was 3 that were in military service. 1 was also a police officer. 2 of them were medicine people. One was a counselor. So yeah, it was, I made offerings to each grave and took some dirt. And so that's my ancestral graveyard dirt. I do have another kind of generic one of graveyard dirt, but it's still it's packed away somewhere else. But yeah, so that's kind of my little collection of stuff that I like to work with most often. And like I said, I like having things within finger's reach and not being out of sight, out of mind. But that's just me. Some people may not like having, you know, stuff being so visual or whatever, but I am definitely one of those people. I need to be able to see my stuff and have it right there where I can see it and it's all in order. Otherwise, if it's put away, packed away in like boxes or those little rolling cart containers, I can't function. It's just, it doesn't work for me. So yeah, and I really find using these little symbols to be really helpful on the labels. It's just so quick and easy to just see the symbol, and it's like sometimes I just mix up random stuff and yeah, you know, take it or leave it. But yeah, anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to wrap up this video. It's been quite long and rambling. So you guys take care. Ciao.